morning. It's Ketriana Yvonne, and welcome to the show. Today's guest is Julius Roberts, an up and coming author. His new book will be hitting the shelves, and it is called Whispering Spirits. And he is a member of the ICAC, the Intergenerational Community Arts Council. And I have the pleasure of serving on as a member on that board with him. And tell us, good morning or good afternoon, Julius. Tell us about yourself and your book and your inspiration for your book, and a little bit about yourself that you want people to know.
Hi, Ketriana. I'm happy to see you. And just a little about myself. I am a Afro-Latino. I am also, a member of the ICAC, and some things that I like to do. And these things started out as kind of like hobbies or like things to get my mind off of, the struggles of life. And some of them were painting. And the one that everyone knows is writing. That has been a journey. My writing has brought me through a lot. And I have become this self-reflective person when it comes to it. Some things that I've been through would be depression, anxiety, and those things are very detrimental to your mental health. And it's like, wow, to see me go from where I was a few years ago to having the smile that I had when I was younger back on my face, it's like, wow.
Wonderful.
Like, wow. And about the book, it's taking you on this journey with me. So we're starting from when it all happened, when this big drop just happened. It was like, phew. And then it takes you through that, like, wow, shows you the intense emotions that I was feeling in that time. And going through that journey, I've hurt a lot of people. And the saying is hurt people hurt people. And what I had to learn was I had to forgive myself for that. Because it's a journey. You learn. Everything in life is a lesson. And that's why you have to just sit here and just reflect and just look at it instead of, what I did is I kept beating myself up. I was like, I did this wrong and I can't get forgiveness. Da, 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 da. Beating myself up every day, not knowing where to turn. And then I started writing about it. You know what?
So when you started writing about it, was that later after you had gone through so much and one day you just picked up a pen and started writing, or was that something that was always a part of you that later you just utilized to help you express yourself more?
It was something that was already a part of me.
Okay.
I loved writing. I don't know why, but in 6th grade, I was actually a quote unquote journalist. I used to write about certain things in my school newspaper. I would do topics like gentrification and all of these big topics like bullying, cyberbullying, and get really in depth with it. And it's like, wow, this has already been a part of me. So I had to utilize it. I was like, okay, if I don't know how to express it in words, let's see what happens when I express it on paper. Because sometimes it's hard when you're going through things to talk to people because you feel like they're gonna judge you. They're gonna look at you differently. So I would, pick up a book. This is the book that I would write in all the time.
Okay.
And I would just, write in it. I would be like, okay, I'm feeling some type of way. start
Right.
writing, and just to let all the anger, the pain, the anxiety, everything out and put it in a book to just
Mm-hmm.
banish it from your body
Yes.
and just make
Love
yourself
that.
like feel good again. And it's like, wow, it's such an invigorating feeling. It's amazing.
That I like the that's like, the metaphor that you use. Because I took a energy healing class, but it was take all the stuff and you put it in a piece of white cotton, and then the stuff you wanted to get rid of, and then you threw the cotton ball away.
Yeah.
But I never, even though most people write in a journal, I never even though that that's therapeutic, but the way you expressed it, that you just put it all in there and it was gone. I never related to writing in a journal and seeing it that clearly. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
And so the journal that you showed, so was that your first journal, or was that one of how many?
I have at least I would say five.
Okay.
And this one, just like the fifth one I got, this one was
Hmm.
gifted to me by my school counselor.
Okay.
And the other journal, Brick.
Hmm.
And my
Okay.
other journals are somewhere.
Okay.
um, but I have been utilizing this form for over the past 4 years to get me
Hmm.
through high school. Because, huh, a lot of people say young people don't go through anything because they don't got bills
Right.
or anything. No, we go through a lot.
I know you do. I'll say that because I would never want to be around your age again in life.
Yes,
Because I remember
it is. It's a journey.
it's a journey. It's a time of figuring out things, not really understanding a lot. It's a process and
Yeah.
you get through it. So I totally can relate to being in that age category, even though I'm way beyond it.
Yes.
So, and I guess with living and processing and just taking those steps on that journey, you
Yeah.
get to some enlightenment that you can, turn it into a book, use
Yes.
your creativity, and to help people.
Yeah.
So, and that's what, and tell us, what school do you go to?
I go
Or,
to
uh-huh.
I go to Urban Assembly New York Harbor School. It's located on Governor's Island.
Oh, wow. I didn't even know they had a school out there.
Yeah.
Okay, I've only been out there for the poetry. Well, see, maybe this year you'll be reading your book. They have
Yes.
the annual poetry New York Poetry Festival there
Hmm.
every year.
Oh,
Yeah, it's in July, the last week in July.
okay.
So
I will
maybe we'll
make
go
sure I
together.
go.
Yeah. Yeah, so we'll be out there selling books.
Yes.
And they have and they have open mics, and usually people, the independent press, they sign up people, so it's just like a big um group of poetry, poets, and readings at different tents. So yeah, we'll do that.
Yes.
Wow, that's interesting to go to school there. So do
It
you take
is.
the ferry to school?
Yes, every day.
Oh, wow, that's an experience every day.
Yes, it
Hmm.
is.
And do you find, do you have a place over there? Because this, seemed like it would be a good place to write. Do you find,
There is a lot of spots on the island that I do go to kind of probably like mostly like either during lunch or after school. I would just,
hmm
take some time to either go to the hammocks because they have hammocks out there.
hmm
An
hmm
amazing place to just sit and reflect and then write. Another place would be the hill because the
hmm
view is amazing from up there. Right in front of the hill is the Statue of Liberty, and
hmm
you can watch all the boats, and an island ferry just like go by, and it's just like so peaceful.
okay, great. All right. So tell us about, you mentioned earlier that you also do art. Now, see, I didn't know that. So tell us about your art.
Yes. So it I've been a very, I would say, abstract and just out there artist
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to certain things. Like if you ask my art teacher in ninth grade, we were supposed to pick a word to create this art piece out of. And I don't know what was going through my mind, but I chose the word blood.
Mm-hmm.
I used all of her red markers that day
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
just to do that project. And I was just like, okay, don't know what was going through my mind then, but okay.
Uh-huh.
And recently, I've been also doing some art. We
Okay.
this
I
piece is
like that.
called this piece is called The Soul.
Uh-huh.
I really like this piece a lot
Mm-hmm.
because the
Wow.
eyes are the window to your soul. And what
Mm-hmm.
all the colors represent are like the different emotions you feel, everything
Mm-hmm.
that's within you.
Mm-hmm.
And another one, I I didn't finish this one, but
Mm-hmm.
I started it. Uh, doesn't have a name yet, but
Uh-huh.
it does have to do with love.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Like that. I could even see the first one being a cover of a book.
Yes.
Maybe your next one.
Maybe my next one.
Yeah. So tell us, I don't know what the book looks like. Because it hits
So,
on, tell us when it hits.
okay.
Or you
So
could just tell us
this is a
oh,
part of the cover.
oh great. Wow.
So
Mm-hmm.
it's the you have okay, so here it's
Mm-hmm.
very it has meaning behind everything. Everything I
Mm-hmm.
did for
Everything
this
has
cover
meaning.
has
Mm-hmm.
meaning. So you see the angel praying,
Mm-hmm.
and you in a slight visible way you can see the moon shining from around his head, and then the
Uh-huh.
clouds under him.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like
Coming out
you
of it.
it's like we are kind of like angels,
Mm-hmm.
and we don't know it. We just have to go through life, waking ourselves up a little bit. Little by little, we'll open our eyes and, see what our purpose is, what we
Mm-hmm.
are here to do. And
Mm-hmm.
so I I took that representation of the angel, just like praying, just like knowing that this journey, it isn't over.
Right.
You have a light within you, which is the
Yes.
moon, the
That's shining bright
representation.
right now.
Yep. And the clouds, which represent the peace of mind that you get after you go through the storm. Because
Yes.
every day there's going to be a storm, there's going to be something that you're going to go through. But at the end, you have to remember that you're going to come out stronger.
Yes.
You're going to come out stronger because that storm is just there to build up your strength.
Mm-hmm.
It's not there to knock you down, it's there to build up your strength. We have to, and I have to do this myself, we have to get out of that mindset that everything is out to get us,
Mm-hmm.
because not everything is out to get us. It's there to challenge us. It's there to just see where we're at in life and to move forward. Sometimes we have storms when we feel stagnant in life. We have storms that come to just push us further. It's there to help. Sometimes you gotta look at it in a positive light. And once you see that, it's like, wow,
Right.
that's crazy, you know?
Mm-hmm. Well, well, yeah, I think all times you have to look at it in a positive way. Or if you don't, that's when you end up depressed and
Yes.
just drifting into wherever you're going to end up. But
Mhm.
what I find wonderful to hear is you speaking the words of wisdom at the age that you are to come to this place at an early age. So I am impressed.
Yes.
It not everyone realizes like you started off saying I did some things and I had to forgive myself. There are people that leave the world and they never got to that place. So it is a tremendous honor to witness or and just hear you, with all your wisdom, which I know I have met so many younger people that I've just been blown away by, and by either their creativity, their just how you process things, and that gives me hope, because not every day do you see some negative things, you hear about young people and stuff, but the people that's doing things, and they don't always get the light, that they're shining. The focus is usually on other people. So sometimes you think like, it makes, well, I guess it would make me feel like, whoo, it's a lot of work to do, and you think that it's only older people doing it. But then when I see the younger people, I'm like, oh God, they got this.
Yes.
Some people can rest a little bit now. So I'm happy for that. Thank you.
Yes.
And so you did. So tell us about. Okay, I remember. I think it's been a while since you was chosen or whatever to write the book. And
Yes.
then how did that feel to know that you were given the opportunity to do something that you really loved and be in control of it, and that it was going to reach so many people and maybe and change your life and change the lives of others? Because I'm sure that's what your ultimate goal is, to bring joy to people.
When I was first, given the chance to write this book and actually put it in focus, I was I was first shocked because I'm like,
Hmm.
whoa, me? You want me to write it?
Hmm.
And I already had like so many poems that I really wanted to, share and just really, push out there to help people. And especially the one that I had in the book that we made together,
Hmm.
Recovery. That one was a poem that I wrote way before I actually put it in place in my life. Because sometimes
Hmm.
the universe talks to you
Hmm.
early on. And then when you finally, like look at it, it's there in front of you. So when I got this opportunity, I took it right away. I was like, you know what? I want to help some people who
Hmm.
were in my position and who want to be where I am today, happy, not stuck. They want to be free, and that's what I want to help people feel, the feeling of freedom, not being stuck in your mind, because that is a terrible feeling, being stuck in your mind.
Okay. And I'm just gonna. This is the Joy and Resource Guide from the ICAC,
Yes.
which Julius' work is here. And this book was available in Fort Greene to the residents. And and I'm gonna just say how I felt about this project, because I thought it was just a wonderful book, and I was so pleased to be a part of it, to work with people, and I just thought we did such a great job. And so I'm always sharing the book. and and at the same time saying it's a great book, because remember, I'm tough. I don't really like that many things that meet my standards, but I
Yes.
felt like we did an excellent job. And whoever I gave the book to, they were all like, oh, thank you. I love that book. I go to my laundry, people are in the laundry. They have my book, one of my neighbors, and she pulled out both of my books. And I didn't know she was in the laundry. And she was like, yeah, I got the books. Now I'm just going to do some reading. And the purpose that we wrote it for was for people to have it, because these were the things that got us through. during COVID, and we wanted to share those things, and for it to be something that people wouldn't just take and throw away. And from what I could see, it met that intention, because people just hold on to it and carry it with them. And so I think we met our goal there.
Yeah.
And so thank you for being a part of that, of spreading joy and our resource guide. So
that was a tremendous feeling to
yeah, so tell me
actually.
about how your feeling was to be a part of something like that.
It was, at first I was, a little taken aback. I was like, okay, what do I really want to show people?
Mm-hmm.
What am I trying to what is a piece of me that I want to give to people? What is I didn't want to give any, half stuff. I didn't want to give anything, that didn't really speak to me. I wanted something that grounded me, spoke to me, and helped me. Because that's what we're here to do. We're here to help.
Mm-hmm.
And since that poem
Mm-hmm.
really was a tremendous help and really taught me so much to believe in myself, number one, I was like, you know what? I'm willing to give this piece of myself to everyone.
I love it. So I'm looking back, and if I'm not mistaken, I think when I first, and maybe I'm just thinking, did when I first met you, did I hear you say you were an introvert?
No, I was
No.
I was both I forgot what they call it, but I'm both introverted and extroverted.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Because I'm finding that, um, yeah, I do remember you in the beginning, like, when I first met you, and that was like the group was together and everybody was just meeting each other. And, you were a little quiet, but I don't see any of that now. I just see you fully out there, full expression as you should be, living and loving life and on your duty of bringing joy to people.
Yes.
So to you,
it,
all of,
it's it's a journey, like I said. Everything, it has a starting point. Everything has a starting point. Sometimes when I start to meet new people, it goes like that. I get, shy, and you
hmm
know, I know that's not me because you see me
uh-huh,
now. It's
uh-huh,
like I usually just sit there, reflect, show, just to get a feel of everybody.
hmm
And then I'm like, okay, now I feel comfortable. And I get out my shell, and then everyone's like, oh, I didn't know you were this,
right, right.
you know? So it's
But
kind of
that's
like,
good. hmm
it's
Yeah,
kind
and
of
I guess to
like,
some extent, most people are like that. Most
yeah.
people, we do have a percentage of people that are never like that. Um, but yeah, I think that even myself, when I'm quiet, which is rare, but I can remember being younger and being really quiet, but I make up for it now.
Yes.
So, yeah. So tell us what, just like if you can, in 6 words, who you are as a poet.
6 words.
It could be less. Like, that just means, like, or why you write. Maybe that's easier.
Yeah, that would be a little easier. Why I
Yeah.
write? Well, I kind of explained half of it.
hmm
I write to get my feelings out, but I also write to not only get my feelings out there, but to get my thoughts out there. Because everything goes hand in hand. So
hmm
the emotional part goes with your mindset.
hmm
Because when you're guided by your emotions,
hmm
it's chaos.
Yeah. Yeah, I was
It's
gonna say
chaos.
it's all over the place.
So I had to have that balance. So I said, okay, let me get my emotions out and then let me get my thoughts together. So I would
Mm-hmm.
write about what's going through my head. Sometimes I'll just write something down, start out a poem, and then later on I'll go back to it and just get it out. So first it'll start with emotion and then it will go with thought. So that's kind of how I make my poems. It's like a mixture. It's like I'm making a cake. First I
Okay.
throw in the emotion, the thoughts, and then boom, put it together, get a little, ingredients in there,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
get the editing and, make it look nice. And then boom, place it in the oven, get it working, boom, nice cake.
I'm loving your metaphor. So it's evident that you are a poet.
Yes.
Everything is just, you have a way of just describing it metaphorically, and you just get it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's good. I like that. So tell us how it's been, how you've been received. Like, do you have a lot of friends that are poets that are your age, or are you the only one, or how is it for
I
you?
do have one friend that's a poet.
Mm-hmm.
And they are amazing.
Mm-hmm.
They are on their own journey. Even though we don't talk as much, I know when to give people their space.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, they're going through their own thing. I went through my thing. They gave me my
Mm-hmm.
space. So it's time for me to,
Mm-hmm. To
back
allow
up
that.
and allow them
Mm-hmm.
to live their life. So that friend, I still, talk to them once in a while. We communicate. But most of the friends that I talk to are, they may not be poets, but they have a gift in
Mm-hmm.
their own
Mm-hmm.
shape or form. Because some of my friends, they are really good at management and I may not be
Mm-hmm.
good at that. We
Mm-hmm.
help each other. So I'm kind of like the wise guy in the group. I kind of like, help people, kind of like a therapist, but not
Mm-hmm.
certified, not yet.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm kind of like the
But you
therapist.
know, when you say I'm a, to be, I think what I would see when people go through things in life, you may not be certified in the traditional way,
Yeah,
but spiritually, I think that we all come to be therapists, and that's why we put here to go through some of the things so that, and I think people that are challenged with lots of difficulties in life and they overcome it, they become the professionals that when other people, when they see it in other people, they recognize it and they know, so they can offer that guidance. So to say that you're a therapist, I mean, you may not be licensed yet,
yeah,
but there's a higher authority that deems us, I'm saying us, as spiritual therapists. And I think that that's a part of, that journey,
yeah,
because I don't think you go through anything, nothing is wasted. You
yeah,
know, People that are in therapy, traditional therapy, spend a lot of time for years. And some people, not everyone. And I think it's because they're looking, this, you, once you get past that, okay, that happened, but I don't have to carry that with me. That's not who I am. That's something that happened. That's something I did. But hey, I'm still here. I still got a chance to make a difference, and you just go on. But when you don't accept it, like you said, that you have at such an early age, which is, unbelievable. Um, that's how much space you have to make even more of a difference. And you haven't even lived a quarter of your life yet. So that's, I think that's really good.
yeah,
So, yeah. So I'm sure. And I also have, I mean, I think that, like what you said, just processing, going through stuff and where you've been and how the poetry helps. I don't think I realized how many artists suffer, and I've come to realize that that's just a part of it. You know, if you're you're gonna go through some things, and I said I never realized how many people suffer with depression, um, just anxiety, different things, until I was actively more immersed in the art world. And so that's like a common theme, and it's one that people that needs to be discussed, especially like in the younger people. um it's like you talked about, um writing about bullying earlier.
Yes.
Yeah. And even that, I mean, we people talk about so many other subjects that affect us, but you can't not talk about that subject. You cannot not talk about mental illness and how it affects young people and what they go through, and think that we're just going to go forward and everybody's going to be okay, and wait until they're adults. And then you have these people, like you said yourself, hurt people, so you end up with adult hurt people that never healed, and perpetuate that cycle. So I think, yeah, so with you, with your book, and I know just being out here in the world, touching people, that'll become a vehicle for other people, because I know it's real. I had a nephew that was brilliant and committed suicide at 14, and he was also a poet. So afterwards, we got to read his book, and I wouldn't want that to happen to anyone else. So that is something I know is dear to you, that I've heard you talk about. I think I remember from the very beginning, um just being who you are and what you faced. And so I'm glad that we have you out here to help express, get people expressed, and keyed in and on the right path, because we need more people like you.
Yeah.
So
um, if I may,
gonna
like
read.
to read something that I wrote.
Okay.
So this poem I wrote recently came out of nowhere. I was
Mm-hmm.
on the train. It was like 7 in the morning too. So I'm like, what's going on? So I'm just sitting down, heading to school, and this poem just comes out. I'm like, okay, got it. My hands just start typing. I'm like, okay, you know, let's leave it to my higher self to write.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it's called The Anger You Hold. I've spent the past years of my life in torture, holding myself accountable for my crimes. I hang myself in public, but you stay bitter. I cuff myself in chains behind bars, but still I pleaded for mercy, but you spit upon my face. Nothing in the nature of myself will ever appease your forgiveness. You will forever hold your torch of anger and your pitchfork of controversy. You send a mob after me, chasing for my blood. You, you, you bash my body apart piece by piece, and you still find no peace. Your body aches with the pain of death. You satisfy your hands with my pain, satisfy your eyes with my blood, but still your heart yearns for peace, thinking to self, why are you not satisfied? Your heart yearns with this question, why? Oh, why am I not at peace?
Mm. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
Wow. And you don't know where that came from. It just hit you on the subway.
Yup.
So when you say it and you just your fingers just typed, because I know that's real. I didn't used to think it was real. But talk about that experience when, like you just did, you said something just hit you and you don't know where it came from and you just started typing. So when you started, can you describe what that is? Because I call myself spirit writer, and I believe that that is a style of writing.
Yes.
And I didn't used to believe it. I think I don't know if you are familiar, Neil Donald Walsh. It was a book called Conversations with God. And I think that was the first book I read. And he was talking about he was angry and he's like sitting at home and he's asking God all these questions about why. And then his pen just started moving. He wrote this whole book that changed my life. And then I think I read the other 12 or 13. And I was just like, but I still don't think I believed that part until it happened to me. So can you describe to people what what that feels like to you to have something come to your spirit and it takes control and writes itself?
It was a journey. I'm gonna keep saying that. It was a spiritual moment where it just
Mhm.
felt like, okay, I'm here. I was half asleep still.
Mhm.
I woke up, I was still tired, doing my morning routine. Weirdest thing is, why am I on the train and this just happened?
Mhm.
I'm like, okay, I'm trying to logically try and figure out what is going on, but then I'm like, you know what? Let's stop trying to figure it out logically. Let's
Right.
just let's
Go.
just do it. Because the more you try to figure it out logically, is the more you're just pushing it away.
Yeah.
You're kind
And
of
my
condemning it.
saying is you can't figure out anything but math, so I don't try.
Yeah. So what I did was, it felt like I was in this place of peace.
Mhm.
And I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's because I'm intuitive, but I feel other people's emotions.
Yes.
So
Mhm.
when it comes to that point, I just have like this peace around me and I'm like, okay, why is this happening?
Mhm.
But what ends up happening is I just start writing. When I'm in this place, I just start writing.
Mm.
Whatever, either if it came from me or an experience that probably I have in the back of my mind, or it came from the outside source, whatever it was powerful because it has
Mm.
a deep message within the poem. It was it was what we were talking about earlier,
Mhm.
that perpetuating cycle of hurt, where you hurt someone and that person gets hurt and they start hurting other people and then it just keeps going and going and going. That's what this is.
Right.
But it's set with two people. It's the person that got hurt and the person that did the hurting. The person that did the hurting is going through this journey and forgiving themselves. But the person that they left hurt is still hurting.
Mhm.
And the person that did the hurting, wants to help them, but doesn't know how to. So it's now switching over to the mindset of that hurt person. And it's like, now they want revenge. They want to get back at the person that hurt them.
Mhm.
So they do any little thing to stifle that person, to, put that hurt back into that person. And it's like, it doesn't help, it doesn't appease them. It's like they still feel that hurt. It's still there. They can't, they're like, this person has peace. How do they have peace?
Mhm.
Didn't they hurt me? Da 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 da. Like they're trying to take that peace away from you. And it's like
Mhm.
they can't. So they try and they try and they try, and it just does not help them. even if they were to kill you, it's not going
Mhm.
to help them because they're just going to keep feeling bad. It's still going to haunt them. What people kind of need to realize is that forgiveness is not for the other person alone, it's for yourself. It's for yourself.
Right. Hmm.
Because that's when the journey starts, when you forgive yourself. Because when you're just beating yourself up, when you're just, just in that state, you never see that the only person you're hurting is yourself. You could be
Right.
angry at the other person. You could be, jealous of the other person. That doesn't affect them. It affects you. It affects you.
Yeah. Hmm. Yeah.
And
Well said.
it's just crazy, you know?
I'm gonna have to contact Dr. Phil or somebody and tell them they need to get you certified.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the way it is. And like I said, that's the key thing right there, to understand all of this. And the fact that you understand it at an early age, it opens up so much space to live and be creative and to just blossom and, spread joy and help other people. Because some people could go through those same experiences, never open up about it, never share, never help anyone. And I guess those are those hurt people that keep, I never thought about it, but I guess those would be those people. So it's almost like you have a choice to be a hurt person that helps or a hurt person that continues to hurt, you know. And by knowing that you have a choice is probably the starting point, but some people probably can't even see that because I think people get comfortable in their story about what happened because at some point that was how they it made them feel good to share a story. Oh, this happened to me. And then, it was comforting. So you go through life telling this story, but you're not reaching the other side because you're just still in the story.
Yes.
you know and I guess now that I'm saying the story, um yeah, like going back to your analogy, how you took all of those things and put it in a book, kind of sums it up. It makes this stuff seem real easy. Wow. I think we need to open up a firm and you know because it is no laughing matter, but when you the way I'm looking at it now, because you just gave so much clarity to your analogies, it makes life seem so simple, and yet we make it so hard.
And
And
that's
like
that's
you said,
just
all the ingredients that when you was talking about the cake, um, I guess the main ingredients is just take all the hurt or all the goodness or all of everything that you have witnessed in life and use it. Look at it, see what you can make of it, and make something good. It could be a cake when you're looking at the mix and all the different ingredients you put in a bowl. Doesn't look pretty, but the end result does.
you know
Um, so yeah, that's interesting. I think I've learned a lot. And not so much that things that you already know, but just still, even the things that you already know, seeing that translated from another perspective, gives you, well, it has given me a different outlook of, like I said, just how simple everything is. Just from your analogies, just the fact that you have aced this, and not to say that everything is hunky-dory for you every day, because like you said in your first statement, people go through stuff.
yeah.
Life, that's what life is. We're going to go through some stuff, but you have to focus on you going through these things for a reason. It's growth in these things. And yeah, when you're going through stuff, you're like, who wants to go through this? Who would
Yeah.
choose this? You know, you could come up with a lot of things to say, but yet that's the path that life that you have. And so now is for you. And I think the people that have the most challenges are, end up being the wiser people, the people that are, because you're probably an empath, so you feel more and you key more into people and can help more people. And so I think that a lot of that is why people show up in the world, just to help and do that work. And you know so you made it all sound so easy, and I hope that whoever this reaches, if they're young, if they're old, that they will get that same kind of insight that you brought me. So that's been a blessing.
It has.
Why? And it's always nice to encounter younger people that are wise, because I know I have met some poets, some younger people that have just blown me away with what they had to say. And I'm like, wow, and they're babies.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter what age you are, people and older people, everybody can help. And using the intergenerational theme, that is probably a new, um, probably one of the strongest links to really helping community, because we've had such a divide between younger people and older people, and all this ages where people haven't been able to understand each other, and I think once that is removed and you can let in what that you need to learn from some young people, and some young people need to listen to some older people and take that wisdom. Oh my God, you put that combination together and you get some heavy duty mission workers out here. And, I know that people are out here making change. And I know it needs to be the, I think I said something in the interview, and it was like, well, that's going to take a long time. And I was like, yeah, but I don't, so you got to speed up that pace. And I think the pace happens when people change and they unite and can build on the wisdom of each other. Because that's what I've gotten from this, Mr. Roberts. Thank you. So, so what else is it that you want us to know about being a dynamic person?
It's not easy. It's not. I can sit here for hours and give you so many analogies that make it seem easy, but it's not. It's a process. You're gonna go through a lot. It may take 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 10 years. You don't know. But
Right.
once you start that journey, all I'm gonna say is don't give up.
Yes.
Never give up. Even if you feel like giving up, just know that breakthrough, it's right around the corner. Because sometimes when we feel like giving up and when we feel like it's never gonna end, that
Right.
breakthrough is right there.
Right there.
It's right there, and we don't see it.
Right.
So you just gotta keep going.
Right.
The
You're
universe
right about that too.
the universe puts people in certain spots of your life for a reason. There's a reason why they're there. They're either there to help you, to hurt you, to show you a lesson, to give you something, because nobody comes into your life without giving you something. It may not be physically, may not be emotionally, it may not even be, spiritually, but they're there to give you something. It's something. it's something that's always, there's always a transaction. We may not see it, but it's there. But once we take our time and look at why this person was put in our life, because sometimes we ask ourselves, why me? Why
Right.
not you?
Mm-hmm.
Ask that question. Why not me? Because there comes a time where we're just gonna sit here and just be like, okay, let's say our life is like this book. We're gonna look at the different chapters in our life. We're gonna look at it and we're gonna be like, oh wow, I learned so much from this experience. Look how much I've grown.
Mm-hmm.
Look how much I've grown. And you're gonna sit there and like, wow, this is amazing. It's powerful to
Right.
see how much you have just picked yourself up. And other people may have helped you do that too.
Mm-hmm.
To see the process of just like everybody coming together, giving you something, it creates you. It creates
Mm-hmm.
who you are. It creates your story. Your life is like a tree.
Mm-hmm.
There are your roots, the people that helped you and are holding you up for life. They're there. And you give them, you know, you nurture them. You know, while you have the leaves. The leaves are there, for a season. They're there to give you the experience. Because trees, they get old, but they have had many leaves come and go. The leaves are there to show the many experiences. And when they fall down to the ground, that's when all of that is gone. But that leaf still has a message for you. It has a lesson for you. There's so many things. There's a story within the trunk. There's a story within the roots. There's a story in the branches.
Mm-hmm.
There's a story on the leaves. It's all
Yeah.
there in our
Mm-hmm.
face. We just have to open our eyes to really look at
Yes. Thank you.
it.
That was so expressed so well. That's so calming. I feel like going to sleep now. And and the trees do, they represent so much, and that's why they say hug a tree. It's a connection to energy and life, and it rejuvenates because it continues, you know. And yeah, I love that. um yes, like I said, can't wait for this book, and I look forward to more that you have to share and
Yeah.
who you will become, because who you are now is already amazing. And if you don't become anything else, you have already reached where most people may never get. And that is a true testimony of character and growth that you don't find in people every day. So I'm so proud of you. And I am here to support you, and, anything you may need that I can help with um, on this journey of yours of reaching out and helping people. You should be honored and proud of yourself.
Yeah. Yes.
And y- you're, I'm not, we're not going to say how old you are, but you're young. And
Yeah.
this is powerful. You just spoke words that some of our highest leaders may have said in different ways, but their truest message was, um, the power that we all have. And, I think that you eloquently just shared such a great message, and like I said, in such a beautiful way for me, that I've been transformed to have even more hope.
Yes.
hope in the young people and them being prepared for the challenge to carry on the torch and get the work done. Because at this point, what we need to happen in the world can't, I don't, we taking this slow route. And I think what needs to happen is, you know, people said it years ago, the urgency of now.
Yes.
Well, that was then. And we need the speed of light and to get it done. And that comes with wisdom and insight from young people. So you have that. So we're on our way. And I just want to thank you. And
Yeah.
we look forward to Whispering Spirits.
I do.
And I think that the first book that it was not my first book, but the first book I was in an anthology was called Circular Whispers. Yeah, and the poem was called Water is Life. And yeah. So we look forward to that, and that's coming right in time for people to pick up your book for Valentine's Day if they miss the holidays for Christmas. But it will be out there. Look for it and
have
tell
some
them.
information.
Yeah, tell us.
So the book is now. I just actually went on the website to check it out. The book is out for pre-order on my website. It's www.juliusmotivationsnyc.onuniverse.com. I can show you. As you can see, this is the website. This is how it looks. There are different things up there in the store.
Julius Motivations. What else was it?
It is, okay. Julius Motivations NYC.onuniverse.com.
Okay, got it. Okay, so I'm gonna go check that out. Put my pre-order in, but I don't want an unsigned copy. I want my signed copy. Like, is this my copy that has the signature in this book? Yes.
So there's also different versions of the book.
Yeah. So I'll have your second signature. This was my copy that I got everyone to sign, but now that I'm looking at it, I don't think I got Celeste's signature or Najee. So I have to, or Suki. So I have to get them. Maybe I had two of these I know I had with signatures. So maybe they signed the other one. I didn't think I missed that many. So, okay. Well, thank you so much for being a guest today on the Ketriana Yvonne show.